Hi everyone, this is Maryann here from Revealing Light Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. How are you wherever you are in the world when you're watching? A huge shout out to you. I have to say I have been very much under the weather since the last time you saw me. Yes, unfortunately had to go on some heavy medication, but here I am again, and I'm leaving a little bit of light coming through there because I feel quite frankly that I need a healing light bath. It's just falling so beautifully today that I thought, well, we could all do with a bit of that light cleansing ourselves. So driving away the darkness that exists across our world today, particularly in Ukraine and Russia. Russia's bombing southern Ukraine quite significantly overnight, and of course in the Middle East, where Israel is gearing up for its ground assault into Gaza, and the Arab nations, particularly Hezbollah in Lebanon and Iran, have said that they won't stand idly by and watch a ground assault into Gaza. Now, coupled with that, of course, in the US, for my US readers, US viewers, we have the Jim Jordan speaker bid failing, as I predicted, I think twice or three times, I can't remember, and they're now moving on to trying to choose another speaker who says that's going to be successful, and ultimately the Democrats will have to negotiate across the aisle to get the House back up and running. It's particularly worrying when we have the American Congress literally neutered, if I can use that word, due to a civil war in the Republican Party. Major developments with the former president, of course. Where do I start? Well, it'd probably take me too long to list, other than to say his fraud, the damages for the fraud that's already been found that he is liable for committing in his businesses, proceeds to see what sort of damages, what sort of penalties the state of New York will impose. And of course, we learnt the other day that an appraiser that has been listed on all of Trump's documents in relation to his appraisal of his real estate actually never did the work and never put his name to any of those appraisals. So that's just more information coming out, almost like a petty thief would do, something like that. In Georgia, Kenneth Chesebro and Sidney Powell, two lawyers who were pushing the fake elector scam and the big election 2020 lie that the election was stolen, have flipped on Trump. So they will obviously be incriminating him directly. Well, let's have a look at that if we can. I don't want to keep everybody too long, including myself. I want to say a big thank you to those that support this channel in any way that they can. I really do appreciate it. Even getting up today when I'm still kind of recovering, I just thought, yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading for you. And I am on the mend. So let's take a look at the Middle East yet again. It's so complicated. I will say that I think we are all in agreement. All sane people across this world are in agreement on a number of things, and that is we want a ceasefire, an ending to the bloodshed. We want hostage negotiation prioritised. And we want those that carried out the atrocities on the Israelis to be prosecuted. And similarly, if Israel has committed war crimes by bombing schools, hospitals, UN facilities, which they've done, then what are the penalties for that? Because this is, I think, there's a fair amount of there's a temperate kind of thinking across the world that Israel does not have carte blanche to kill innocent citizens in the Gaza. So it's a very complex situation. Also want to look at a two-state solution. It's had a terrible history of failure in the past, but the king, or the ruler of Jordan, has come out in the UN yesterday or the day before and called for talks to resume on a possible two-state solution. So we've got a lunar eclipse coming up at the end of October. I think it's the 23rd of October. And that's a very worrying astrology chart for me because it has a T-square there. The Sun, Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, and the Sun squaring Pluto in Capricorn, and a square then down to the moon, of course, and Jupiter is, I think, almost conjunct or is conjunct with the moon. And Uranus, while it's not conjunct still, is in Taurus at 21 degrees. Now, I have astrologer friends that contact me via email and point out that the Uranus was at this same degrees in all the major recent conflicts, including the world wars. So, anyway, the T-square, or that a red triangle in the middle of that eclipse chart. While it points to tremendous conflict, it also demands solutions as well. And this is really why I'm reading on this today, on the Middle East today. The conflict, the bloodshed, but what sort of solutions are going to be forced in a transformational process. All right, so let's have a look at the ground assault. Will Israel actually go in, boots and all? It's increased its bombing of the Gaza, and this is in preparation for this boots on the ground in Gaza. To protect, obviously, its soldiers as it launches this assault, but also it's just collateral. It's a collateral damage thing here in the Gaza. Okay, so show me, will Israel launch this ground assault? I mean, how bad does it have to be before we intervene in whatever way we are going to intervene? Qatar has been talking with Hamas and they've released a woman and her child, like her teenage daughter. I did say that they probably will get more hostages, women and children, out through peace talks rather than an assault. And indeed, the Israelis themselves are saying, we want a ceasefire, we want hostage negotiation prioritised. But listening to Netanyahu revving the soldiers up in a speech, it's a blazing guns for him, and he's provoking other Arab states to get involved. It's pretty grim. The two signifier cards, of course, is the Three of Swords and something coming to fruition in time. So this heartbreak, this ground assault, will lead to heartbreak all around. And we have the Three of Wands as the foundation here. Someone's benefiting from this. Of course, there are many who do not trust Netanyahu, and for good reason. And we also have, in my previous readings, this Russian angle here. Indeed, the Wagner mercenaries were training Hamas. Now, in the past, we just have this ongoing conflict. And when I looked back at the history of two-state negotiations, it's a bit like that. No one really could agree around what territory should become part of which state. Now we have the Nine of Pentacles. These are odd cards suggesting some kind of monetary thing here. Now, if Israel does launch this ground assault, no, that was the question. It looks like they're going to, possibly within 2 days. Yeah, there's something here around... Well, I'm just going to come out and say flattening Gaza would produce a very ideal solution for Netanyahu. They are going to. That's the near future. That's the world, the wheel of fortune. Right now, though, we have carrying this heavy load, the 10 of Wands. It's like, who do you really believe? Netanyahu's looking really confident, but, you know, is this too much? Can Israel win? Can it go in and achieve its aims without mass civilian casualties? And it's around baggage, carrying baggage from the past. And when I look at this because you can't please everyone in these readings, I'll end up getting, pretty nasty comments from both sides. People who support Israel accuse me of being biased toward Palestine, and Palestinians who accuse me of being biased towards Israel. I'm not biased towards anyone. I'm biased. Where my bias is, I want a ceasefire. I want the ending of bloodshed. But the past is too much. It is just too much in this situation, and it's come to a crescendo. I get the sun in the hopes and fears. Now, again, it's the missiles, it's the rockets. They have the laser beam. Israel has laser beam precision target missiles. And there's a real fear here that this could spark, like a tinder, a wider conflict. The outcome is the Hermit card review. I think world leaders are certainly urging Netanyahu to just stop, slow down, think this out. And getting the Hermit here, which is the Virgo card. Isolation and sending the troops in. I actually think, wish fulfillment, I actually think Netanyahu will launch this ground assault into Gaza. He's not backing away from it. He's isolated in his will to do that, even from his own citizens who understand that if he sends the soldiers in, it will prompt Hamas to, if they weren't going to murder the hostages before, they will now. It takes away a bargaining chip. We have here the Lovers and an abuse of power, and the Last Judgment card along with Justice. This is very much a karmic situation in which the truth we must really work hard to perceive that across the world. And it is only through that truth, acknowledging that truth, that we get toward some kind of hope for peace in this conflict. So, yes, he will. He's being urged not to, but I feel at this stage he will. Now, for him, it's like, why does anyone do this? Beat the drums of war as opposed to hostage negotiation and ceasefire, at least temporarily, to find other solutions. There's a benefit here for Netanyahu, and that is showing very, very clearly. This person should not be leading this retaliation for the atrocities that were committed upon the Jews. This is the wrong person. However, I have a feeling that for the truth to come out, often things have to get pretty dire. So yes, there will be this ground assault. The next question is, does it widen the conflict? Does a ground assault bring in Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon? Does this ground assault widen the conflict, bringing in Iran and Lebanon? Does this ground assault bring in Iran and Lebanon? Show me clearly, please. Either or both. Hezbollah and Iran. So we have here an offer of something, and we get money, an offer of money, a deal being struck. And we get the devil card here, the devil card. We get illusion, delusion, and poor choices in the past. When I was shuffling this, I remember one of the documents that the former president of the US had was US battle plan for an invasion of Iran. Do you remember that? So we get the crossroads and decision time, and then we get loss, walking away. We get new starts here. I've got a feeling something stops this. We get disappointment and something being offered. We get the temperance angel in the hopes and fears. Literally the temperance angel. I just love that card. And then we get the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so same cards, and I shuffled them quite proficiently. This is a wish here. These are people drawing strength, the show of strength, the world, and something being revealed to us. This is a setup. I just feel that this just screams people pulling levers here. I'm going to get a clarification on these. It's almost like they're being funded by a third party. Russia, that would be. Show me this 9. Is that correct? Are they being funded by Russia? Iran, Hezbollah, Ace of Pentacles. So it's quite the odd coincidence, isn't it, that at this time of when the world is on the brink, that the US House can't pass any assistance to anyone because the Republicans don't have a speaker in their house. Okay, it looks like the conflict could widen depending on how that ground assault is handled. Is there a possibility for a ceasefire to be negotiated? Can the Americans and the Europeans, the UK, the Western countries, indeed China, anyone who has a stake in not having this conflict turn into a world conflict? Is it possible for a ceasefire to be negotiated? Is it possible for a ceasefire to be negotiated in the Middle East? Mortally wounded and retreat. Guardrails. So, look, it is possible to perhaps negotiate a retreat once Netanyahu invades Gaza. It's disappointment, an offer of something. Not good cards. The Knight of Pentacles. In the past, this has been brewing for some time. Illusion and delusion. What did we have during the last presidency? Someone asked me the other day, during the Trump presidency, well, he offered to give, I think, most of the Western Bank to Israel from memory and pay off the Palestinians. And equally, the current administrations have lost. Have not. All of us have been complacent. Let's just say complacent that this wasn't going to blow up in the way that it has. We get in the immediate future the 8 of Cups, loss, walking away from something, complete and utter ruin and loss. The here and now, we get homes, families, and we get wish fulfillment. So I think behind the scenes they are working to try and negotiate some kind of ceasefire. Could even be from the Arab states that are not committed to seeing the war spread in their region. We have the hopes and fears that logic will prevail. And then we get the Sun card. Yes, a ceasefire can be negotiated. I get a commitment and contract reached. I get the impression that this is once Israel's gone into Gaza. It's like a withdrawal. We are at a crossroads. So it could be that if you stop the bombing, we can do some negotiations on those hostages. Perhaps the ground assault can be called. I just intuitively don't think it will be called off, but I do see a ceasefire at some point in this conflict being negotiated. All right, I'm going to ask about this two-state, providing it's all on the choices. It's not on my card readings. It's all on the choices, which path everyone decides to take. And that's the crime of it all, is that we sit in our homes worried about world war when the decisions have been taken out of our hands, those of us that just want the ceasefire and the logical kind of sanity type thinking to play out. We're not the ones making the decisions. Those with vested interests, those who are making wrong choices for whatever the reason. So there's potential for a wrong choice to be made. However, it's only a potential. The outcome cards indicate, yes, a ceasefire can be found. Let's go to the US now. I think our Australian Prime Minister is travelling to the US right now. He was supposed to speak in front of the House. Ooh, all secrets to be revealed, things being hidden. He was supposed to speak in front of the House and the Senate. He obviously can no longer do that. He may speak in front of the Senate, I don't know. He's still arriving in your country. Isolated. What are the Republicans doing? They are just simply isolating themselves. It's a gang of 7 in the House that have caused this, and indeed Republicans generally in their extremism and their unwillingness to reach across the aisle in anything really. It's in the Senate, the extremists holding up military promotions, and there's no US ambassador to Israel, as I understand it, because I think it's Rand Paul, the other extremist in the Senate, is holding up those as well. Look at this. It's just smacking of an abuse of power, which is going to lead to their complete and utter downfall. Wiser men and women would already see that that is the only logical way that this is going to play out. Okay. Can the Republicans elect another Speaker of the House on their own without Democratic votes? Can the Republicans find a Speaker for the House on their own? Can the Republicans find a Speaker of the House on their own? A lot have given up. A lot of Republicans now are just giving up. It's like... Now we have the Chariot. Things moving quickly, things potentially getting out of control. This is signifier cards. Why? Because of the past. The past is why this has unfurled, this disaster is unfurling. And we get here the Queen of Pentacles. That's domestic security and national security. It's the coin, it's the purse. The house controls the passing of budgets. In the past, we have a win for obviously the Gang of 7, Matt Gaetz and the Gang of 7. There's also Republicans winning in 2022, winning the House in 2022. That's in the past. Now we have a possibility here of people coming together in unity which would mean the Democrats are assisting. We get quick movement. It's like there's an urgency here now for whatever reason. Maybe this is when the ground assault takes place into Gaza. Things maybe go downhill. Solutions need to be found quickly. There seems to be some sort of urgency here. Now, there are people who are hiding things here, hiding their motivations, hiding their intentions, and we get the new start in the environment around. We get the money. Perhaps people being, I'm not going to say paid off, but there is a monetary intention here. Incentive is the word. A monetary incentive here in the hopes and fears. Also donors getting just peeved off with the Republicans. But the outcome card is no. It's like pausing, suspending something. Well, the hangman is a maybe, something, and a loss. No, these are bad cards. We get the Empress card. This is definitely going to hurt the US, if they can't pass bill, the government shutdown is looming, and they can't find a speaker on their own. As I've always said, and I don't think I'll even throw on that because I want to just do a final reading on the former president, criminal defendant Trump. They can't find a speaker without acknowledging that they have to work across the aisle with the Democrats. So no, the next bid will not be any more successful than the current one. Okay, all right, just quickly, will the Dems help? Will the Democrats help the right candidate? Will the Democrats help reach across the aisle and help the Republicans? Will the Democrats help the Republicans find a speaker to the House with the right candidate? Loss, a plan and strategy, deep anxiety. Why wouldn't you be anxious? It's around the keeping the country going, open, and we have the Hierophant here. Is that the Hierophant? Yes. And then we have the outcome card, giving and receiving help. The president is here talking all the time with the Democrats about making a deal to get the House. I think that everyone is really quite heightened anxiety around the toxicity that is there. So yes, the Democrats are going to help. They're very clear cards, and the president is talking all the time. I think also I'm hearing to Republicans as well, those moderate Republicans who are just as worried. Everybody is on heightened alert. You don't hear the sense of anxiety from the elected leaders, but everybody is extremely worried. All right, let's go to Georgia and finish this reading. So yes, a speaker will be found with the help of the Democrats. Okay, so downfall of MAGA is what I feel is the ultimate outcome here. Okay, Georgia, let's go to Georgia. Will Sidney Powell, either Sidney Powell or Kenneth Chesebro or both, directly implicate Trump in the fake elector scheme and the bid to overturn a democratic election, a fair democratic election, the RICO conspiracy to overturn the election? Will Powell or Chesebro or both directly implicate or someone else who's flipped, directly implicate Trump in the conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election? In Georgia, well, the truth is coming out, and it's coming out very, very quickly. We get the devil, the toxicity, the MAGA brand. They may as well just have that tattooed onto their foreheads. These are all yes cards, by the way, and so much of it comes from this illusion of money. Well, not an illusion. It's the flow of money, whichever way, from grifting, from personality, from influence, from campaign donations, from actually being paid. It's all about the flow of money and the toxicity that goes with that. We have the Strength card as in the past, and we get the complete and utter downfall. Here, the ending of an old cycle, and we get wounded in battle, retreat, decisions, all of them. It's quite a reason to smile that justice is being served here. They're all extremely concerned. Extremely concerned. Well, you do the crime, you do the time. So the hopes and fears, we get the Hanged Man, and the outcome is the Chariot. It's like the dominoes are just falling. They're giving up key information that they may have withheld before, and we get home, family, reunion, and giving over that information, and they're doing so at a rate of knots, because why? The game is up and the truth is out. Okay, they will implicate Trump directly. They've given communication up, something, whether it's an email or a testimony about a phone call, there's some sort of communication that implicates him directly in this. All right, that'll do. I think that's probably all I need to say, other than thank you, and I'll be back later on in the week with another reading. I am getting better and better each day. Wouldn't matter what readings I do, if I did astrology readings or tarot scopes or spirit files, they all take it out of you. It's not just the political readings. And yeah, we've just had a pretty cold winter, and I'm just got run down, but I'm getting on my feet now, and I just want to thank you all. Gosh, I don't take that for granted. I really don't. I'm very, very grateful for all your good wishes, well wishes, and your support of my channel. I just want to say thank you, and I just want to say I see you. Thank you. Bye.